Hello, everybody. Black Tiger again, as always, with the news from the front. January 19th today, and there was the Women's March, and individual marches were held all across the country, apparently. But there was one in New Lenox, in my town, and I just had to go because I will not let these gun control, pro abortion lunatics have only their voice be heard with no opposition. So let's read from the Chicago Tribune, the Daily Southtown, and see what they have to say in their article here. Headline: Activists gather in New Lenox for a snowy annual Women's March. I'm going to read the first couple paragraphs, then I'm just going to skip to the part about me. A little snow didn't stop about 100 determined demonstrators from gathering in New Lenox Saturday for the third annual Women's March. I'm out to support women and to support people who don't have a voice, Jordan Sulos of New Lenox said. It's important to speak out against injustice. The event was organized by Women's March Illinois, South Suburban Activists, and other groups, including Moms Demand Action, and was one of hundreds of similar marches held across the country. So blah 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 other crap. Here's the part about me. One counter-demonstrator attended the event, but had to stay about 50 yards away in a fenced-off area set up by police for protesters, which is unconstitutional in violation of my rights. The man wore camouflage fatigues and a black mesh mask concealing his face, and carried a strap-on knife. Oh yeah, I mentioned that to villainize me like I'm a violent person because I have a knife, like the cops don't all have knives. A "Don't Tread on Me" flag, and bags that he said contained first aid items. And that does contain first aid items. I have a first aid kit that has a splint, a tourniquet, gauze, quick clots, band-aids, triangle bandages, and other supplies, eye wash in case people get hit in the eyes with pepper spray. I have a pretty nice first aid kit, and I do know CPR and basic first aid. I've learned basic first aid all throughout my life in the Boy Scouts, at various camps, and I was recently Red Cross CPR first aid responder certified at the last place that I've most recently worked, so it's a fully functioning first aid kit, and I do indeed know how to utilize it. Anyways, he said he was a New Lenox resident and identified himself only as Black Tiger. He said he wanted his anti-gun control opinion to be made known to the demonstrators, saying that gun restrictions could lead to genocide similar to what happened with the Nazi and Soviet governments. And there you have it. That's why it's important to go to these events that you disagree with the message of and the agenda they're pushing, and to be the opposition voice. It would have been a disservice to my fellow patriots, my fellow liberty and freedom and sovereignty-loving Americans, to have not gone, to have allowed them to have the rally unopposed. And that is why it is so important that we do go to these events and voice our opinions. I stood there the full, 2 hours, almost 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I made it known to a lot of people that what they were supporting is evil. I yelled at a lot of women, telling them that they should feel ashamed for supporting abortion, supporting the murder of unborn men and women in the womb, supporting one of the largest genocides of black people in our history. More blacks are killed through abortion than any other mean every single year. And this argument that, well, it's just a clump of cells, is so fallacious, it is disgusting. If you want to be technical about it, all human beings are just clumps of cells organized into specific structures. So the argument that because the structures haven't formed into what a fully developed human being is yet, and thus it's not a life, is absolutely nonsensical and not true. So that's just one of the things that I took issue with. Obviously, the other thing is gun control, as I said to the reporter, that, and what he wrote in the article there, that yes, it leads to genocides, and it leads to tyrannical control by governments. So that is why we need an armed populace, not only to keep at bay and fight back against a tyrannical government, but also for personal self-defense. Because you can't have a police officer constantly be with you everywhere you're at, so sometimes you may need to fend for yourself. And how can you do that properly if you don't have the proper tools for self-defense? If only criminals have firearms and you don't, you are going to be held powerless to stop them from accosting you, from them taking your life. So, I am very glad that I went. I'm disappointed that nobody else went with me, but it doesn't matter. I think I made a more powerful statement on my own. Would have been nice to have a bigger group, but I don't need it. I can hold my own, and that's exactly what I did. I didn't let them all just walk by without saying anything. I made a lot of them hopefully feel very ashamed. They probably don't, but maybe something clicked with a few of them. So, that's all I got for this report today, guys. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Like, share, subscribe. Support me through Patreon if you can, please. And always remember, if you disagree with these people at their events, go there and voice your opposition. Black Tiger.